Hi girls, I hope you're doing well and you had a wonderful week last week. Hope you got some learning done, but I also hope you enjoyed spending time with your family at home. If you remember, we worked on Perek Yud Aleph last week, learning the story of Bnei Israel's complaints about what they got or didn't get from Hashem while they were in the desert and how Moshe dealt with all of this. So I would like to continue that right now. Last week we went through the whole pshat of the Perek. We learned just the psukim, and this week I want to focus more on the Rashis. So normally in class you work together in pairs, but now I'm going to be your chavrusa. I'm going to be your learning partner, which is very exciting. So if you look at the worksheet, it is still the same worksheet as last week. Last week I just had you skipping the Rashis when you translated the psukim. Now we're going to go back and fill in the gaps of the psukim, of the Rashis in the psukim. And as always, just like I say in class, it is really important to have the Rashi in front of you and read from the Chumash itself, from the Rashi, and not just rely on the worksheet, because the worksheet doesn't give the full Rashi. Most of the time it's just a few phrases that I want you to translate. So if you have a Chumash, please get one and open to Perek Yud Aleph, Pasuk Aleph. If you do not have a Chumash, you can go back to the Google Classroom and see that I uploaded a document that has all the Rashis that you need that we're learning together. So please pull that up, pull up your worksheet, and let's get to work. So we are on Perek Yud Aleph, Pasuk Aleph. So as always, it's very important to actually look at the pasuk before you look at the Rashi. So let's remember what the first pasuk told us. Vayehi ha'am kemit'onenim ra be'oznei Hashem, and the people were complaining in the ears of Hashem. Vayishma Hashem, and Hashem heard. Vayichar apo, and he became angry. Vativ'ar bam esh Hashem, and the fire of Hashem burned among them. Vatochal biktzei hamachane, consuming the edges of the camp. So we are going to look a little bit more into this pasuk and see what this all means. So we are going to go to the second dibur hamatchil. If you look at the Rashi, Rashi actually breaks up the beginning of the pasuk into two dibur hamatchil. The first one is the entire first three words, Vayehi ha'am kemit'onenim. We're going to skip that one and go straight to the dibur hamatchil that says kemit'onenim. So here Rashi wants to understand what the words mit'onenim means. What exactly was the nature of their complaint? We know they complained, but what was this about? What was their motive? So I'm going to read it, and I want you to pay attention to the words of the Rashi, fill in what you can go along, and then after we talk about it, fill out the sikum. So, mit'onenim. En mit'onenim ela leshon alila. So the word mit'onenim is a language of alila. Alila means a pretext. And a pretext is kind of like an ulterior motive, something that you are trying to provoke somebody. It's not just a genuine complaint, a genuine concern. It's a complaint that comes from a bad place. Let's continue reading. Mevakshim alila, they were seeking a pretext. Ha'ech lifrosh me'achorei hamakom, how to turn away from Hashem. A lot of times in the Rashi, when it says Hamakom, it literally translates as the place, but we know it's talking about Hashem. V'chen hu omer b'Shimshon. Similarly, it says, this is in Navi, in Sefer Shoftim, when it talks about the story of Shimshon. The Rashi is bringing here a pasuk to give a similar example of someone who was complaining with a pretext, with an ulterior motive, complaining with a negative connotation, not a genuine concern. So over there, it said about Shimshon, ki to'ena hu mevakesh. He is seeking a pretext. So again, what is Rashi saying here? When Bnei Israel, or when the nation, the people were complaining, it wasn't a genuine concern that they really were afraid or didn't feel good or were genuinely worried. It was more of a pretext. Hey, let's see how much we can provoke and push buttons. The next dibur matril talks about is Ra be'oznei Hashem. So if you look back at the pasuk, you'll see that it says the nation was looking to complain and it was evil in the ears of Hashem. So this is what Rashi is going to talk about. To'ena shehi ra'a be'oznei Hashem. It's a pretext that was evil in the ears of Hashem. Shemitkavnim, because they intended, their intentions were, shetavo be'oznav veyaknit, that it should reach his ears, it should reach Hashem's ears and provoke him. Amru, they said, Oy lanu, woe to us. Kama lavatnu baderech hazeh shlosha yamim. How tired, how weary we became in this journey of 3 days. Shelo nachnu mi'inui haderech. We have not rested from the fatigue of the road, of walking. So they were provoking Hashem. How are they provoking Hashem? They were saying, oh, we're so tired. It's been 3 days that we're walking nonstop. We're not getting any rest, and it's so hard for us. And that's why it was bad in the ears of Hashem, because if we look at the next Rashi that says, Va'ichar apo, Hashem's anger flared. Remember, we talked about how Va'ichar apo is a phrase that talks about anger, like you're scrunching up your your nose, very angry. So why was this provoking Hashem? Let's read the Rashi. Ani ha'iti mitkaven letovatchem. I meant it for your own good. Shetikansu la'aretz miyad. That you should be able to enter the land immediately. So what's going on here? Rashi is explaining to us in a couple of separate diburim matril that they knew exactly how to provoke Hashem, to push Hashem's buttons. Because they were saying, oh, you made us walk for 3 days straight and we're so tired. Why was that provoking Hashem? Why was that a pretext? Because Hashem actually meant it for the good. He meant, remember, the original plan was not for Bnei Israel to be in the desert for 40 years. It was meant to be a short trip, just walk across, get to Israel, everything's great. So Hashem meant it for their own good, this constant walking and being in the desert. They kind of turned the situation around and made it sound like it was a bad thing. Now the next Rashi is talking about the fire that came as a punishment for this complaint. So if you look back at the pasuk, The very end of the pasuk says, "Vativ'ar bam esh Hashem," and the fire of Hashem consumed them. "Vatochal biktzei hamachane," and consume the edges of the camp. So if you go down to the Rashi, biktzei hamachane, he is explaining the following. B'mokatzin shebahem lishfelot, the untouchable parts of the field that are basically the very, very base of the field, like very far away from the rest of the camp of the Jews. Elu Erev Rav, that's where the Erev Rav were residing, and we already talked about that the complaints came from the Erev Rav. They were the source of the complaints. So the punishment went to the edges of the field, right where they were camping. It didn't go to the center where the rest of Bnei Israel were. The punishment went exactly to the ones who were complaining against Hashem, who were provoking Hashem. So if you look at your worksheet, we are on the bottom of page 2. There's a couple of questions that we need to answer. First one, Ma zot alila, what is a pretext? So that we spoke about. Ezo alila hamitonenim chipsu, what pretext were the complainers looking for? What were they saying to provoke Hashem? Ma hem ratzu le'orer b'Hashem, what did they want to awaken in Hashem? Lama Hashem chara b'Bnei Israel, why did Hashem get angry with Bnei Israel? Mi hayu biktzei hamachane, who was at the edge of the field. Lama hem hayu b'katzeh shel hamachane, why were they at the edge of the field? So all these questions are based on the Rashis that we just discussed. So let's go now to Pasuk Bet. I'm just scrolling down here. Okay, so let's look at the Pasuk again and then learn some Rashis about it. Vayitzak ha'am el Moshe, and the people cried to Moshe. Vayitpalel Moshe el Hashem, and Moshe davened to Hashem. Vatishka ha'esh, and the fire died down. So let's learn some Rashis. First dibur matril we're going to look at is Vayitzak ha'am el Moshe. Rashi wants to know if the nation, the people, were the ones who were actually complaining. Why are they all of a sudden running to Moshe for help? They are the ones who started this. What's going on here? So let's find out. Mashal, he's giving us a mashal, a comparison. Lemelech basar vadam, to a mortal, a human king. Sheka'as al bno, who was angry with his son. Vehalach haben etzel ohavo shel aviv, and the son went to his father's close friend. Ve'amar lo, and said to him, Tse uvakesh alai mi abba, go and ask, and when they say ask, it means ask forgiveness, mi abba, from my father. So what is Rashi saying here? Bnei Israel are the ones who complained, yes, but all of a sudden they realized their mistake. It's like a king who was angry with his son, and the son realized he did something wrong, but he knows his dad is so angry with him that maybe it's a good idea to get someone else involved. So he goes to someone that he knows his dad really loves and respects and is very close to, and says, please go talk to my dad, please tell him I'm really sorry, please tell him I didn't mean it, or whatever message he wants to give over to his dad. So that's why Bnei Israel called out to Moshe. So if you look at the mashal, who is the king here? Hashem. Who is the son? Bnei Israel. And who is the friend that's going to help out the son, hopefully, is Moshe Rabbeinu. Let's look at the end of the pasuk where it says Vatishka ha'esh, the fire died down. Let's look at the Rashi for that dibur hamatchil. Shak'a bimkoma ba'aretz. That means it sank in its place in the earth, into the earth. She'ilu chazra le'achat haruchot, for it had turned along one of the sides of the camp. Hayta mekapelet veholechet kol oto haruach. It would have gradually kind of folded or rolled along the entire side of that camp and cause more destruction. So we see here that Hashem listened to Moshe's pleas. It was a good idea to go to Moshe. And Hashem made the fire just go down, burn down exactly where it was. It didn't continue to the other sides of the camp. Otherwise, there would have been more damage. The punishment would have been much worse. The next pasuk just talks about the name of the place. Pasuk Daled talks about the following. Let's read it together. Ve'ha'asafsuf asher bekirbo hit'avu ta'ava. But the multitude, we said the Erev Rav, among them, began to have strong cravings. Vayashuvu va'ivku gam b'nei Israel. And even Bnei Israel once again began to cry, vayomru, and they said, Mi ya'achilenu basar, who is going to feed us meat? So Rashi here is looking at the words va'asafsuf. That's a dibur hamatchil. Let's read it. Elu erev rav. These are the erev rav. Shene'esfu elehem, that attached themselves to Bnei Israel, betzetam mitzrayim, when they left Mitzrayim. So we talked about this before, who the Erev Rav was, who the Asafsuf was. These were not Bnei Israel, these were not originally the Jewish people, but when they left Mitzrayim, they tagged along with them. So I'm just looking at the worksheet to make sure we didn't miss any questions. Asafsuf, now we are good. Moving on to Pasuk Daled, let's read it. Zacharnu et hadaga asher nochal b'Mitzrayim. We remembered the fish that we ate in Egypt, chinam, free of charge. Et hakishuim ve'et ha'avatichim ve'et hachatzir ve'et habetzalim ve'et hashumim, and they start listing all the vegetables and fruit that they had or they thought they had for free in Mitzrayim. So let's see what Rashi has to say about that. We're looking at Dibur Matril Asher Nochal B'Mitzrayim Chinam. Im Tomar, if you say, Shemitzriim notnim lahem dagim chinam, that the Egyptians gave them fish free of charge, vehalo, gave them fish free of charge, vehalo kvar ne'emar, does it not already say, veteven lo inaten lachem, straw shall not be given to you? This is another pasuk in Sefer Shemot that describes the time the Bnei Israel were slaves in Mitzrayim. And the pasuk says that even straw they didn't give them for free. So Rashi is referencing that pasuk. Im teven lo hayu notnim lahem chinam, if straw was not given to them for free, dagim hayu notnim lahem chinam, do you think they would have given them fish for free? So before we continue, let's just explain this. Rashi is asking here, what do you mean you ate fish for free in Mitzrayim? You were slaves. How does that make sense? And even in Shemot, when it describes the slavery, it even says that even straw you weren't given for free. So what makes you think that you got fish for free? How could that be? Umahu omer chinam. So what does free of charge mean? That's what we have to figure out. Chinam min hamitzvot. Free of mitzvot. Free of any precepts. They didn't have to do anything to earn it. Now, the Erev Rav feels like they are getting... they have a lot of obligations that they have to meet in order to get food, and that's what they don't like. That's part of their complaining. In Mitzrayim, we didn't have to keep any mitzvah to get free food. That's the nature of their complaint. Now, the next Rashi is interesting. Rashi is going to talk about the man, right? Because that's what they're eating in the desert, and that's what they don't like, right? They're remembering all the interesting food and vegetables that they had in Mitzrayim. But actually, there's an interesting fact that the man tasted like anything you wanted that we learned before, except for all the vegetables that are listed in this pasuk, in pasuk Hey, the kishuim and I'm just looking back, the kishuim and avatichim and betzalim and all those, the man could not taste like those even if you wanted it to. So Rashi is going to discuss that. So we're looking at dibur hamatchil et hakishuim. Amar Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon says, this is from the Gemara. מפני מה המן משתנה לכל דבר חוץ מאלו? Why did the man change into everything except these? מפני שהן קשים למניקות. Because they are not good, they're harmful for nursing mothers. Meaning, if you eat those, it's not, God forbid, going to hurt your baby, but it's not comfortable. The baby doesn't feel well after getting those in your milk. Omrim leisha, it said, telling a woman, al tochli shum uvatzal, don't eat these foods that are listed, garlic or onion, mipnei hatinok, for the baby's sake. So it's kind of an interesting point and kind of a nice thing to see that Hashem was so considerate that of the Jewish women and the babies, that the only thing in the world the man couldn't taste like was those things that could potentially not feel good to the baby who eats it. And interestingly, the only thing that it could not taste like is what they chose to complain about. So they didn't say, oh, we miss the yummy cakes and barbecues and pizzas we had in Mitzrayim. They specifically complained about the one thing they couldn't have, the garlic and the onions and those things that are not good for the babies that Hashem spared them from eating. So that just kind of shows you a little bit about the nature of this Erev Rav and how they were not very good. So let's look at the questions. למה המשיל רש"י את הצעקות של משה לדבר עם השם בשבילם? What did Rashi compare Bnei Israel's cries that they had to speak with someone on their behalf? What was explained the Masha? איך האש עשר ולמה לא הלכה לכיוון אחד? How did the fire stop and why did it not continue in the same direction? מי האנשים שהתחילו את התלונות al הבשר, who are the people who started the complaints about the meat. מה המילה חינם רומזת לנו על החישובים של המתאוננים? What does the word חינם or free tell us about the thoughts or the pretext of the מתאוננים, of the complainers? מה אלו הדברים שהמן לא לקח את טעמם? What are the things, the specific foods that the man couldn't taste like? Lama and why? So good job, girls. We went through a lot. And when we meet on Zoom, I can answer any other questions that you have. And in the meantime, I miss you and I hope to see you in class soon.